Everyone, it's Allie, and today I want to make a video on a topic that was highly requested of me to make a video on my stash tab and all the organization that I've done in it. To quickly give you a brief preview of what I'm about to show you how you can do for yourself today, what I've done with my stash is I've optimized it and automated it in such a way to where I can take a bunch of random items like this that I picked up off the ground and just simply right click with my stash open. And well, as you can see, everything is not going into the stash that we're currently looking at because, well, I've optimized everything and organized everything to where everything just automatically is distributed into their own proper tabs without me having to as much as move a single muscle. If you're somebody who likes to organize their stash and to have everything neat and organized so you can find everything immediately, well, I'm going to show you exactly how to do this today. Now, the basis of this is going to be around the tab priority on every single tab. The way to access this is by simply right-clicking on any of the tabs that you wish to change. And from here, we can just simply turn on tab priority and, well, we're off to races. With this, what we can do is we can pretty much define almost anything that we want to. For example, I can define, for example, body armors, and I can go in here and specifically choose nothing but infantry halbergs. If I do this, then every single time I get an infantry halberg and I right click it into my stash, it will immediately go into this tab because, well, we told the game to do that. It is very, very nice once it's fully set up, but does take a little bit of effort to do. What I want to go over is going to be my exact setup, how exactly I organize everything, and maybe give you some inspiration for how you could put together your stash as well. Now, my stash is broken up into 4 subsections. I have all of the general items, which are a little bit too difficult to put into their own category all together in general. I have all my idols, which are broken down by size and type, so it's really defined exactly what I want to. I have all my uniques, with my Weaver items being its own tab, and then my 4LP, 3LP, 2LP uniques, and then everything else just being a mash of both 1LP and 0LP. And then I have a section for every single exalted type, so helmets, shields, body armors, and so on. Now, if you want to start at the top with the general, I have a tab for LP, and this is typically just items which are either done and I don't really have a use for them, but could potentially make for good LP fuel in the future if I ever need to, I don't know, in the future, put a percent health roll on some sort of belts and I don't want to go about crafting one, well, grab one out of here and immediately go to Temporal Sanctum. I have a champion tab where I'd put any sort of champion items I get, although I kind of filter all them out, so there's nothing really here. Unfortunately, there's no way to prioritize this, so this will be something I'd have to manage in here. Same goes for an experimental tab, no way to prioritize this or automate in any way, so any sort of experimental items I deem worthy to pick up, I just shove it in here. I have a leveling tab. This is specifically set to a tab priority of legendary items specifically. This will then catch any sort of items with LP on them, and this will typically be things that I might go to Temporal Sanctum and just randomly put something on them, and typically they're probably pretty good for leveling, either them being a low level or just having some interesting stats on them. One thing to mention about this priority is that it's simply based off of a top to bottom priority order. For example, because this specifically has legendary items in it, anytime I take an item that fits that criteria and put it in here, it's going to just simply look at the first tab that has that criteria for it. For example, if I go to my LP tab and set this to a rarity of legendary as well, now instead of things going to leveling tab, they're going to go into the LP tab because it is a higher priority and it's at the top. If I were to put the LP tab below the leveling tab, this is now no longer going to go into the LP tab and instead go into leveling tab like before. This is really useful for organizing things, which we'll go over here in the unique section in a little bit. Finally, my general tab, I have a tab set specifically to sets because, well, given that we have the grid bridge and we want to scatter different set items consistently for the set charts, it's probably pretty good to keep them on order. For my idols, it's pretty simple. I simply just have a tab priority where I go in and specifically select idols and then just go through and pick one at a time. So for example, this one is small, and then in the minor one, we do thing, we put in minor and so on and so forth, all the way up until we go to all them. I like having them in order like this because you get, well, quite a lot of idols, and it's really nice to not have them all in one big jumbled mess, and just makes it a little bit easier to search for them if you need a specific size and don't feel like going to search stash and search for something like vitality if that's all you're looking for. And even then, it just makes it easier to look at each of the different ones with vitality on them. After that, I have my unique section. Now I put my Weaver tab at the beginning. This is simply just a tab that has a minimum of 1 Weaver's Will on it, meaning catch any and all things specifically with Weaver's Will. This is also below the idle tab, meaning that if I ever get any sort of idols with Weaver on them, they will get caught by the idle priority first over the Weaver priority, so they'll go in there instead of going in here. followed by a tab for 4, 3, 2, and well, everything else in terms of LP. These are set to a minimum maximum of their respective LP, along with the rarity being set to unique. And the same goes for 3, 2, and then the other tabs are simply just set to the unique rarity and nothing else. So everything else gets put together here in a jumbled mess. The reason everything is like this is because it makes it really easy to expand in the future. I'm most likely not going to need a second 2LP tab or any of these in the future, but we're definitely going to need a lot of tabs for all the different random unique items that we get. So if you ever want to expand to the future, I simply just click the plus, buy a new tab, and well, it's already in place. And all I have to do is just go change the color, go to tab priority, set it to unique, and well, just rename it so it's the same as everything else. And just like that, I managed to expand my tabs. For all my exalt items, I did the same exact thing where each of these is simply just set to the type itself. So in this case, I have my one-handed and two-handed weapons in this tab and it's specifically set to exalted. And if I want to expand to the future because this weapon tab is starting to get a little bit too full, I just simply buy another stash and just expand it the same way I expanded my unique tab. With this, it's pretty nice and pretty easy to keep everything in order. It's pretty easy to just quickly go to the last tab, for example, boots, and see if it's full and if I need to go buy another tab for that specific spot. Obviously, you don't need to do this for exalted items. You can simply just have a exalted category and then just have all of these tabs mushed together and just have them be set to nothing but exalted without specific types and just leave them all in there as one jumbled mess. Because what you could do is simply just go to the search stash and search for something like dexterity. And as you can see, it's only going to show me the tabs that specifically meet the criteria of the search. So for example, if we go to the body armor tab, as you can see, this says dexterity on it, so we can find a chest plate that way. So kind of nice because this allows me just immediately look at all my gloves if I specifically am looking for dexterity gloves. And if I simply want to do a little bit of window shopping to see what kind of gloves I do have around to see something that might be worth crafting with, it does make it a little bit easier to do that. It's up to you if you want to go that far with organization. And this did take me about 30 or so minutes to do, but honestly, I really like the way it came out. I like how neat everything is. Hopefully that gave you some insight into how I went about organizing everything. Honestly, the tab priority thing is literally just magic. I love it. It's great. And you can do so much more with this if you want to be even more in depth with exactly how you organize everything. So have at it. The world is your oyster. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment in the comments below and I'd be more than happy to help you as soon as I can. I also stream on Twitch every single day, so feel free to come by and ask me every questions there. Or if you simply want to come and drop by our Discord and ask a question in any of those channels, or just simply come and hang out with the kitties, I'd be more than happy to see you there as well. With all that said, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next video.